Order. Order. Nick Fletcher to move the motion.
Thank you, Chair. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship today, especially after all the work yourself and the member for Mansfield have already done on this subject. We are here today to celebrate International Men's Day, which took place this Sunday, the 19th of November. It's a day to celebrate all the good that men have done, but also a day to shine a light on the things that adversely affect men so much. The theme this year was suicide. There are 13 men a day who take their life. 13 men who woke up yesterday morning are no longer with us. And today, another 13. And tomorrow again, another 13. Every day, every week, every year. Just let that sink in. 13 men every day who think the only way out is to take their life. In 2023, that cannot be right, can it? So what is the answer? Sadly, there is no silver bullet, but there are steps we can take, steps we must take. And suicide is not the only issue affecting men. So I'm going to take you through a few of them, but then through some solutions too. Let me start by taking you through a boy's life. Let's call him Tommy. Tommy never asked to be born, none of us did, but Tommy is here. Tommy needs care and attention from day one, not just from mum at home, but also from dad. Human interaction is crucial to a child's development. Playing peekaboo is, as my right honourable friend from South Northamptonshire, so much more important than you would think. Sadly, Tommy's mum and dad argued a little too much. Money, housing, health, work. There are so many things that make relationships hard. We know that life isn't easy. That's why marriage vows have for centuries said these words, which we all know, for richer, for poorer, in sickness, in health. Tommy's parents separate. Sadly, too many times it turns into a battle. In come the solicitors. To win their case, too many use blame as a tool, a child a weapon. The legal system makes it so hard for children. Lawyers want to win at all costs. Parents say things that shouldn't be said. The truth often embellished by all sides. An acrimonious split now achieved. Tommy now doesn't see Dad, and Tommy's mum has it all to do. No work, rest and play, just work, then work at home, and little sleep for Tommy's mum. And what of Tommy's dad? Dad ousted from the home, unable to see his son. Many fathers are prevented unfairly. Child maintenance to be paid. CMS presents another challenge. Tommy's dad often turns inwards and often to the fridge looking for relief. It could be beer, the wrong food, both, or worse. Little Tommy gets a PlayStation and a smartphone. The World Wide Web. Influencers now come into play in Tommy's life. They want to sell a brand and themselves. No care to what little Tommy sees. Tommy's schoolwork suffers. No male teachers at his school. Very few male teachers now. No role models to follow other than the wrong ones. A decreasing number of positive male role models on TV. Tommy plays up at school. Nobody expects anything of him. Written off at such an early age. Knowing this, Tommy plays up even more. One day, he finds himself excluded from school. Tommy becomes easy prey. A local gang shows him respect for now, shows interest for now. Antisocial behaviour follows. Disrespect for police, drugs, a knife, a spell inside, mum in despair. Where did it go wrong? Tommy's father, now probably overweight, drinking too much, anxiety, no value, feels he has nothing to live for, and sadly Tommy's dad becomes another statistic, one of the 13 a day who die by suicide. Tommy finds a girl amid this car crash of her life. They want to make a go of it together. They have a beautiful little boy, Tommy Jr. And sadly, the cycle begins again. Quite depressing, but we all know it's true. But it really does not need to be like this. As I said, there is no silver bullet, but there might be something close. Let me take you through this and show you how it cuts across all departments of government. Tommy's first 1,000 days are so important. We need to push out the family hubs as soon as possible across the country. Department, DWP. Keeping families together saves so much pain and heartache and the state so much money. There are 66% of mums who want to stop at home and look after their child. We need to offer them the same support we offer mums who want to return to work. So mums have a genuine choice. We need dads to have the same choice too. We need to build many more homes where people need them. That way we have more choice, which will automatically raise the standard. And we need a fairer tax system for families. Departments, DWP, DLUC, Treasury. To stop the hate in separation, we need a new model when it comes to family law. Fairness for fathers as well as for mothers. A system that treats fathers equally in practice as well as in theory. What works in civil litigation doesn't work here. Little Tommy needs mum and dad. So that has to be the starting point of any separation. Department, MOJ. Influencers need to understand their audience and the damage that they can do. We have to get them to quit being a problem. The online safety bill will help, but we can't legislate for people being decent, just as we can't legislate to force people to be kind. We need to name and shame these culprits. And we need leisure centres and youth clubs. Tommy missed out again yesterday in Edlington. No leisure centre for Tommy. So he spends 14,000 hours on his games console, like the average boy does up to the age of 21. Department, DCMS and DLUC. There are 4 million children living with only one parent. In 88% of these families, the parent with the care of the children was mum. If we assume an even distribution in family size, then we can estimate that around 3.52 million children live with their mothers. That is 1.76 million boys without a dad at home. We need to introduce and maintain a flagging system in school, a system that flags fatherless boys as they start secondary school. All boys need mentorship and need to be met with a positive attitude. Fatherless boys especially need this. Department, Education. Stopping the gangs. The police operations Duxford are working, but we need to do more. We need a zero-tolerance attitude and a broken window strategy so our young people know how to behave. The gangs must be dealt with from the bottom up. Capturing the ringleader is not the answer. He is often replaced within an hour once caught. We need to stop his workers on the street. Department, Home Office. Just quickly on a side note, did you know that the tags actually are a deterrent to others as well as the one who's tagged? One young man told me when he had to wear one, all the individuals who might have dragged him back into crime actually kept away. They didn't want to be with him because they could be traced. This young man, through being tagged, has been able to leave criminality behind. He is now back on the straight and narrow. Back to the departments. Separated dads are often unable to spend time with their children. They are in despair. We need to do more to help them. Men may often turn to the wrong lifestyle choices when things aren't right. We have an NHS system that doesn't fit around the work patterns men often do. We need men to discuss their issues, become part of a community, feel valued and have access to their kids. Department, Health and Social Care. I have listed many departments, but there are issues for men at work that are covered by so many more. I have heard of loneliness in occupations. Lonely farmers with regards to suicide are a concern. Long days in tractors on their own is no good. Isolation is hard to cope with. Department, DEFRA. The soldier who leaves the forces and can't find his way in civilian life, in Civvy Street, is again another concern. Department, defence. The list goes on, and many departments are doing much to help. The Secretary of State for Health and Social Care, with the ministers both past and present, have been amazing. They have been listening. Only this weekend they announced help with issues that so many men face: prostate cancer screening, access to health services online, and a task force to understand how men access physical services. All of this is good to hear. These steps will undoubtedly save many lives. And it goes further. The announcement of a men's health ambassador is great news too, a huge stride forward. But we have a Minister for Women, and let me tell you, Mr. Chair, she is doing great work. But if we want to help all the men and boys out there like Tommy with their poor life prospects, we must do more. If we want to stop all these men like Tommy's dad taking their own life, and if we want to get Tommy's mum a life that is not just sheer hard work for seemingly very little return, then we need a minister for men and boys. A minister who will join up all the dots. A minister who will join all these departments together. A minister who will really take men's health and well-being seriously. A minister who will ask this question whenever any policy is announced. How does this affect men? How does it affect their families? How does it help society as a whole? Because as Warren Farrell states, when one sex loses, both sexes lose. Very true. So I say to them... Yes.
Thank you, Chair, and pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. And I commend my colleague for presenting a very well-researched speech and telling us the story of Tommy. One of the questions I have for him, though, is does he believe that the major step forward would be a Minister for Men?
Thank you. Yes, I do. And this is what we're building up to, and this is desperately what we need. So I say to the Minister, thank you for everything you have done, but please use your influence to inform our Prime Minister of this debate, to give him this message. No matter how many men there are around his cabinet table, or how many men there are in FTSE 100 companies in their boardrooms, men still need help. And tell him not to forget little Tommy. He's desperate. Trust me, he is. Whether he is 5, 15 or 25, he is desperate.
Thank you, Mr. Davies. He's made a very passionate case around why young boys need those very strong male role models. I would argue the case that young girls and women also need those strong role models, of course, too. I entirely support his call for a Minister for Men, but would he take this opportunity to congratulate a band of brothers, a group in my constituency, who provide that male mentorship, and they have seen incredible, inspiring, transformational success in the lives of the young men that they've come alongside, because that essential ingredient, that role modelling by a more experienced and mature man, has truly made the difference.
Thank you. I thank the Honourable Member for intervention, and I couldn't agree more, and especially with what she started with, that girls need these role models too, which is so important. But please pass on my thanks as the chair of the APPG and for a Member of Parliament who takes this issue so seriously, to all the work that the charity is doing. Thank you. Just finally, I'm the biggest believer in personal responsibility. Not everything can or should be down to government. So I ask the nation to talk up men. I ask the nation to look for the good in them. I ask the nation to ask them if they are okay. And when they say they are fine, ask them again. Many men are not fine. They need our help and support. Look out for the little Tommy in your community. See if you can be of help to him through his mum or his school. Because trust me, if we don't, the 13 a day won't stop at 13. This figure will rise. The prisons will only get more full, and too many more women and girls may be hurt along the way. And I say this in conclusion, when the subject of a Minister for Men and Boys is mentioned, stop sniggering. and start supporting. We need to quit being part of the problem. We need to start being part of the solution, because when one sex wins, both sexes win. Thank you.
The question is that this House has considered international